Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about an idea that may challenge us all, an idea radical to the core: there is no evil. And I know some of you might be thinking, how can that be? Just look around at the world today. We're bombarded by images of struggle, hurt, and pain. But I invite you to look beyond the appearance, to dig deeper into the heart of what's real and what is possible. Neville Goddard once taught us that the outer world, everything we see, is a reflection of our inner world. Our beliefs, our assumptions, our thoughts, all these manifest into reality. What if, in our hearts, we allowed ourselves to believe that there is no power of darkness? What if, instead of seeing evil, we saw a world crying out for love, for healing and transformation? I give it like this: when we believe in evil, we give it life, we make it real. But if we look at pain and suffering and respond with compassion, with understanding, we do more than just refuse to react, we transmute that energy. We take the darkness and, by the power of our own awareness, we turn it into light. Imagine walking into a dark room. Do you fight the darkness? No, you don't. You turn on a light and the darkness disappears. Evil is like that darkness in absence of the light of love, of understanding, of compassion. You don't need to fight it. You need only to recognize your power, your light, and stand firm in that awareness. And in that awareness, you don't find evil, you find the opportunity to transform, to elevate, to create anew. When Neville Goddard said that everything is within us, he meant that all the good and all the beauty, all the pain and all the struggle, it's all a part of the grand illusion of separation. We see ourselves as separate, isolated, vulnerable, and from this comes our greatest suffering. But the truth is, we are whole, united by the consciousness we share, by the love that binds us. When we recognize this, the illusion of evil loses its grip. Let me remind you of this: no outside force has any power over you. The power lies within you in your imagination, your awareness, your conviction. What if each of us went out today, looking at the world not with judgment, but with a sense of wonder? What if, instead of seeing evil, we saw opportunity? What if, instead of seeing division, we saw oneness? The beauty of this path is that it asks us not to condemn, not to struggle, not to fight, but to shift our perception, to see with the eyes of love, to transform our reality through a change in belief. Imagine a world where love is our only guide, where compassion fills the air, and where unity drives us forward. This isn't just some hopeful idea, it's the power of imagination, the power of faith, and it's the power within you. The idea that evil is merely a perception rooted in the illusion of separation is profound and goes straight to the core of our understanding of ourselves, our world, and the experiences we label as evil. When we think of something as evil, we're often reacting to something that causes harm, discomfort, or appears to directly oppose our well-being or the well-being of others. But if we dig deeper, we find that what we call evil is largely shaped by our perception, our beliefs, and the way we see ourselves in relation to others. According to this view, the idea of separation, of seeing ourselves as isolated individuals distinct from one another, disconnected from everything else, is what creates the concept of evil in the first place. This sense of separation fosters an us versus them mentality, a duality that makes it easy to categorize experiences, people, and events as good or evil based on how closely they align with our interests, safety, or values. But what if this separation is merely an illusion? Neville Goddard, who emphasized the power of the mind and imagination, argued that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world. In other words, what we see and experience outside of ourselves originates from the beliefs, assumptions, and thoughts we hold within. This perspective reveals that evil may not be an external reality, but rather a projection of our own internal conflicts and misunderstandings. When we look at the world through the lens of separation, we perceive threats and oppositions. But if we adopt a mindset of unity, seeing ourselves as interconnected with everything and everyone around us, then the idea of evil loses much of its substance. We come to understand that what we see as evil might just be the result of a lack of understanding, compassion, or awareness, a gap waiting to be bridged rather than a threat to be fought. This mindset shift requires us to look at the world from a place of wholeness and interconnectedness. Imagine, for instance, a forest ecosystem where each plant, animal, and element contributes to the overall health of the environment. If we isolate any one part and view it as separate, we may fail to understand how it plays a role in the greater balance. A predator, for example, might appear cruel or evil to a single observer, but in the context of the whole ecosystem, it plays a crucial role in maintaining balance. Similarly, if we isolate actions or people without seeing the larger context, we may misunderstand their role or purpose, leading us to label them as evil. At the human level, much of what we label as evil often comes from misunderstandings, fear, and the ignorance of our own interconnectedness. Acts of violence, for example, may stem from deep-rooted beliefs, traumas, or a sense of lack that drives people to harm others. When we view others as separate from us, it's easy to respond to these acts with judgment, condemnation, or fear. However, if we approach these situations with the understanding that all human beings share the same needs, fears, and desires, our perception changes. Instead of seeing an enemy, we see someone who, much like us, is struggling with their own challenges and may be driven by beliefs and emotions that we ourselves could understand if we took the time to look deeper. Another way to consider this is through the lens of self-perception and self-awareness. If we believe that we are inherently separate from others, we tend to focus on differences, and these differences become barriers to understanding and empathy. By contrast, when we recognize that everyone at the core shares a fundamental essence, we begin to see that what appears as evil is often a reflection of suffering, lack, or misunderstanding. Just as we may have experienced moments of anger, fear, or resentment, others have their own emotional battles and experiences. When we understand that their actions are not entirely separate from the human experience, we gain insight into the forces that drive people to act in harmful ways. In seeing through the illusion of separation, we can cultivate compassion rather than condemnation. Compassion doesn't mean we ignore harm or excuse behavior that causes suffering. Instead, it means that we approach each situation with a sense of curiosity and a desire to understand what drives someone to act as they do. We begin to ask questions like, what pain might this person be carrying? Or what beliefs are motivating this behavior? This approach allows us to see beyond the surface and understand that often people act out of their own wounds or perceived limitations. In doing so, we can address the underlying issues with empathy, rather than exacerbating the problem with hatred or fear. Ultimately, the perception of evil comes down to our choice of perception. When we view life through the illusion of separation, we inevitably see threats and differences that feel insurmountable. But when we view life through the lens of unity, we begin to see each individual, each experience, as interconnected, as part of the same fabric of existence. This doesn't mean we condone harmful actions, but it does mean that we approach life with an open heart and mind, understanding that the way we perceive others affects not only how we treat them, but also how we shape our own reality. In this view, there is no true evil, only separation and misunderstanding. When we recognize that we are all one, that each individual is a reflection of the whole, then we stop seeing the world in terms of enemies or threats. Instead, we see a world full of opportunities to extend love, compassion, and understanding. The notion that darkness is merely the absence of light provides a powerful metaphor for understanding what we often label as evil in the world. This idea challenges the traditional view of evil as an active, opposing force, and instead frames it as a condition that can be transformed through awareness, compassion, and understanding. Just as darkness has no substance of its own, it is simply the lack of light. Evil can be seen as a state that exists where there is a lack of love, awareness, or connection. When we grasp this concept, we open ourselves up to a transformative approach to life, one that allows us to address fear, pain, and negativity not by fighting them, but by illuminating them with the power of positive energy, kindness, and understanding. Imagine walking into a dark room. Immediately, everything around you seems ominous, unknown, and even frightening. The objects in the room, the shapes, the shadows, may take on a life of their own in our minds because of our inability to see clearly. But the moment you turn on the light, everything is revealed for what it is. The shadows disappear, and any misperceptions you had about the space vanish in an instant. Darkness is not an entity fighting against the light, it's simply what exists when light is absent. Similarly, when we experience fear, suffering, or cruelty, we're often facing situations where the light of compassion, understanding, or unity is absent. In these cases, what we call evil is a state of lacking, an area of life that is waiting to be illuminated. This approach has profound implications for how we view the world, others, and ourselves. When we interpret evil as the absence of light rather than a force in its own right, it changes the way we respond to situations and people. Instead of reacting with anger or judgment, we are invited to respond with empathy, with a desire to bring understanding into the situation. If someone acts out of anger or fear, we can see their behavior not as an embodiment of evil, but as a response rooted in an absence of inner peace or love. By shining our own light through kindness, empathy, and patience, we can create an environment where healing, connection, and transformation become possible. In many spiritual teachings, light is often equated with awareness, love, and truth. When we embody these qualities, we naturally dispel the darkness of ignorance, fear, and hatred around us. For example, if someone behaves in a way that seems harmful or unjust, our first instinct might be to label them as evil or fundamentally wrong. But if we consider their actions through this lens, we might see that they are operating from a place of deep pain, unawareness, or fear, a place devoid of the light that could guide them toward a different path. By responding with understanding, we allow the possibility of change. Our response doesn't fuel the darkness with further animosity. Rather, it offers a different option, a light to follow. This idea is not about ignoring harm or accepting all behavior without discernment. It's about choosing to respond in a way that acknowledges the underlying lack, the absence of something essential, rather than strengthening the illusion of a battle between good and evil. It allows us to see beyond the surface actions of others to the root of why they behave as they do. Consider, for instance, someone who acts out of jealousy, spreading rumors or harming another's reputation. On the surface, this act may seem malicious, and our natural response might be anger or resentment. But if we see their behavior as stemming from a sense of lack of darkness where self-worth, security, or love are missing, then we gain a different perspective. We begin to see that their actions are not about us, but about something they are struggling with internally. By choosing to hold compassion, we do not condone their actions, but we do refuse to let their darkness pull us into a reaction that fuels more negativity. Darkness cannot be fought with darkness, only light can eliminate it. When we react to negativity with more negativity, we merely reinforce the very thing we're trying to avoid. However, by responding with light, by choosing understanding, compassion, or even simple neutrality, we offer a solution rather than contributing to the problem. Just as a candle can illuminate a room without struggling against the darkness, our own choice to embody light can transform situations without confrontation. This doesn't mean we become passive or ignore injustice, but it means we engage with it from a place of strength and clarity, recognizing that our goal is not to defeat darkness, but to reveal what is true and good. The power of this approach becomes clear when we apply it to our own lives and inner struggles. Often the things we fear, resent, or regret most are simply parts of ourselves that we have not yet brought into the light of acceptance or understanding. Perhaps we carry guilt for past mistakes, feel anger toward parts of ourselves that we find difficult to accept, or experience anxiety over unresolved fears. These inner struggles can feel like forces we're constantly battling, and yet when we look at them closely, we see that they are often fueled by misunderstandings and the absence of self-compassion. When we illuminate these areas of our lives with awareness, when we bring in the light of self-acceptance and forgiveness, the shadows begin to dissipate, and we experience a sense of inner peace. In relationships, too, this perspective allows us to hold space for others in a way that is healing rather than reactive. When we see that someone's hurtful words or actions may stem from their own unresolved pain or fears, we are less likely to take it personally and more likely to respond with patience. This doesn't mean allowing ourselves to be mistreated, but it does mean recognizing that reacting with anger or resentment will only add to the cycle of pain. Instead, by responding with understanding, or, at the very least, choosing not to react from a place of negativity, we break the cycle and open up the possibility of healing for everyone involved. Ultimately, viewing darkness as the absence of light offers us a profound tool for transformation. It encourages us to become sources of light, to bring understanding and compassion to situations where they are missing. This approach does not require us to ignore reality, but instead to engage with it more deeply, to look beyond surface behaviors and appearances to the underlying causes. When we realize that darkness has no power of its own, we begin to see ourselves as creators of light, capable of transforming our world simply by embodying the love, awareness, and truth that dispels all illusions of separateness. In doing so, we discover that our true power lies not in fighting darkness, but in being the light that reveals its illusory nature. The concept that your mind is the creator of reality is foundational in many metaphysical teachings, especially in Neville Goddard's philosophy. He emphasized that our beliefs, assumptions, and the images we hold within shape our outer experiences. This concept suggests that reality is not something separate from us that we passively experience. Rather, it is something that we actively create and mold through our consciousness. Our inner world are thoughts, beliefs, expectations, and the mental images we cultivate has a direct influence on our external reality. This understanding gives immense power and responsibility to the individual, because it places the key to transforming one's life in their own hands. Imagine for a moment that the mind is like a projector and reality is the screen. The images we hold within are what appear on that screen. When we cultivate positive, empowering thoughts, those thoughts are reflected back to us in the form of positive experiences. Likewise, when we hold on to negative beliefs or assumptions about ourselves, others, or life in general, those beliefs manifest in ways that confirm and reinforce those negative assumptions. The mind is not simply an observer of reality, it is an active participant that molds and shapes what we perceive and experience. Understanding this principle means that we can no longer see ourselves as mere victims of circumstance, but as creators with the power to shape our lives. A central idea here is the power of belief. Beliefs are more than just thoughts, they are deeply held assumptions that influence how we interpret the world and respond to it. If someone believes that they are undeserving of love, for example, they might unintentionally repel love or overlook opportunities for connection. Their reality reflects their inner belief in unworthiness, reinforcing their perception that love is scarce or difficult to obtain. But when they shift this belief, even slightly, to one of worthiness, the outer world begins to mirror this change. They might notice people becoming more receptive to them, or they may feel more confident and attract positive relationships. In this way, beliefs act as filters through which we perceive and interpret our experiences, subtly guiding the outcomes we encounter in life. Our imagination also plays a crucial role in shaping our reality. Goddard emphasized that imagination is not just a tool for creative expression, but a powerful force that can transform our world. Imagination allows us to envision possibilities, to feel the reality of something before it is physically present. When we imagine something vividly and consistently, we begin to embody the feelings associated with that vision, and this creates a powerful energetic signal that influences the outer world. For example, a person who consistently imagines themselves as successful, who truly feels the sense of accomplishment, confidence, and joy that success would bring, starts to align with opportunities, people, and actions that naturally lead them in the direction of that vision. They become more open to possibilities that support their imagined success, because they are already living it internally. This principle operates in all areas of life, from career aspirations to personal relationships. If someone imagines themselves in a loving, healthy relationship, truly feeling the love, trust, and support they desire, their thoughts, actions, and interactions begin to reflect this imagined reality. They may unconsciously radiate confidence and warmth, drawing others to them and creating the conditions that make that relationship possible. In this sense, imagination acts as a rehearsal for reality, allowing us to align ourselves with the experiences we desire before they physically manifest. Through imagination, we try on different realities, preparing ourselves mentally and emotionally for them, which in turn attracts them into our lives. Another key aspect of this principle is assumption. Goddard emphasized the power of assuming that our desires are already fulfilled. Assumptions, like beliefs, influence our perception and behavior, but they work by creating a state of expectancy. When we assume that something is true, we are less likely to doubt or question it. Instead, we act in ways that support that assumption. For example, if someone assumes that they will succeed in a job interview, they approach it with confidence, clarity, and enthusiasm. They prepare thoroughly and engage more naturally, increasing their chances of making a positive impression. This state of expectation shapes their actions and interactions, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, this does not mean we ignore the current reality or deny present challenges. Rather, it suggests that we approach life with a sense of creative power, recognizing that our assumptions and beliefs are not static, they are flexible and can be transformed. If we encounter a setback, we have the choice to see it as a stepping stone rather than a permanent obstacle. By adjusting our inner dialogue and reframing the way we interpret our experiences, we can keep moving forward with the expectation of positive outcomes. This flexibility allows us to adapt, learn, and grow, using every experience, positive or negative, as fuel for creating our desired reality. The practice of shaping reality through the mind also encourages us to take responsibility for our inner landscape. Our thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are not isolated, they influence one another, and in turn, influence the outer world. A mind filled with self-doubt, anger, or fear will manifest experiences that reinforce these states, while a mind cultivated with thoughts of gratitude, love, and confidence will create a reality that reflects these qualities. This doesn't mean we should suppress negative emotions, but rather we should acknowledge them and choose to redirect our focus to what we wish to create. This intentional cultivation of positive thoughts and beliefs over time transforms our mental and emotional environment, making it fertile ground for a fulfilling, abundant life. Ultimately, understanding that the mind creates reality liberates us from the passive role of reacting to life's circumstances. It encourages us to actively participate in shaping our experiences through conscious awareness. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect or that challenges disappear, but it does mean that we approach these challenges with a sense of empowerment, knowing that we can influence the outcome through our perspective and choices. We become more resilient, creative, and adaptable, capable of navigating life's ups and downs with the understanding that we are never truly powerless. In the end, our mind is not merely a reflection of reality, it is the architect of it. The thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, and images we hold within shape our outer world in ways we may not always recognize immediately, but that are constantly at work, creating the life we live. By cultivating positive, empowering inner beliefs, and aligning our imagination with our highest desires, we harness the creative power of the mind to transform our reality into a reflection of our greatest potential. This understanding invites us to dream boldly, live consciously, and take full responsibility for the life we create. Faith in goodness is a principle that reshapes how we approach life, helping us see through negativity and remain grounded in a belief that things ultimately work out for the better. Faith here is not about wishful thinking or ignoring reality, but rather a powerful conviction that good prevails, even when circumstances seem otherwise. This mindset encourages us to look beyond surface-level challenges and see deeper possibilities for positive outcomes, no matter the current obstacles. Such a faith reshapes how we think, feel, and respond to life, grounding us in resilience and hope that attract positive experiences. When we actively choose to focus on the good, we change the energy around us, creating a ripple effect that extends into our interactions, decisions, and overall outlook. This type of faith becomes a guiding force, particularly during times of uncertainty, loss, or struggle. In moments of hardship, it's easy to fall into patterns of doubt, fear, or despair, which only amplify feelings of hopelessness. But by cultivating a deep-rooted faith in goodness, we anchor ourselves in a belief that something positive is possible, even if we cannot yet see it. This faith isn't blind optimism, it's a conscious choice to focus on possibilities for growth, healing, or change, despite appearances. It allows us to stand firm in challenging times, trusting that every experience has value, even if it doesn't align with our immediate desires or expectations. Faith in goodness encourages a perspective shift from fear-based reactions to love-based responses. When confronted with adversity, our instinct may be to resist or escape, but with faith in goodness, we approach situations with openness and curiosity, asking ourselves, what can I learn from this? How might this serve me or others in the long run? This shift helps us find meaning in situations that might otherwise seem pointless or purely negative. For example, a person who loses their job may initially feel devastated, overwhelmed by fear about the future. However, faith in goodness enables them to look beyond the immediate setback, seeing it as an opportunity to explore new paths, learn new skills, or pursue long-held dreams. This approach transforms the experience from one of loss to one of possibility, expanding the potential for positive outcomes that may not have been visible at first. The power of this faith lies in its ability to influence our actions. When we believe in the inherent goodness of life, we're more likely to take proactive steps, pursue our goals with persistence, and cultivate positive relationships. A person rooted in faith in goodness often acts with kindness and compassion, believing that these qualities will bring about positive outcomes. They may volunteer their time, help others, or take steps toward their dreams with the belief that their efforts will eventually bear fruit. This proactive, positive approach creates a cycle in which good intentions and actions lead to good results, reinforcing the faith in goodness even further. Faith in goodness is also contagious. When we live with an optimistic outlook and act in ways that reflect our belief in positive outcomes, we inspire those around us. Imagine a person who, despite personal challenges, maintains a hopeful and encouraging attitude, supporting others and seeking to uplift rather than discourage. Such a person becomes a source of inspiration, a reminder that positivity and resilience are possible, even in difficult times. People are drawn to this energy and often find their own faith strengthened as a result. In this way, faith in goodness doesn't just impact the individual, but creates a community of support, positivity, and hope that uplifts everyone involved. Another critical aspect of faith in goodness is the resilience it builds within us. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's natural to encounter difficulties that test our beliefs. But when we hold a steadfast faith that good will emerge, we cultivate inner strength, patience, and adaptability. We stop expecting life to be free from challenges, and instead accept that these challenges are part of the journey toward growth and understanding. With this mindset, we become more resilient, able to withstand setbacks with the knowledge that they are temporary and ultimately serve a purpose. This resilience allows us to navigate even the most challenging experiences without losing hope, knowing that we have the power to shape our response and, in doing so, shape the outcome. Faith in goodness also changes our relationship with fear. Fear thrives in environments where doubt, negativity, and hopelessness reign. But when we cultivate faith in goodness, we weaken fear's grip on our lives. Instead of being paralyzed by what-if scenarios, we approach life with a sense of adventure and curiosity, believing that no matter what happens, good will prevail. This doesn't mean we become reckless or ignore potential dangers, but we stop letting fear dictate our decisions. For instance, someone with faith in goodness may take a leap of faith in their career, knowing that even if things don't go as planned, they will learn, grow, and find new opportunities along the way. This faith turns fear into a reminder of the unknown possibilities that lie ahead, inviting us to embrace life with open arms rather than retreating from it. Moreover, faith in goodness has a grounding effect. It connects us to a sense of purpose and fulfillment, allowing us to find meaning in both joyful and challenging experiences. When we operate from this place, we feel more aligned with our values and priorities, making choices that reflect who we truly are. A person with faith in goodness doesn't simply chase fleeting pleasures or avoid discomfort. They seek experiences that resonate with their deeper values, trusting that following this path will bring lasting satisfaction. This grounding effect provides a stable foundation from which we can live more authentically, making decisions that align with our beliefs and ultimately lead to a more fulfilling life. In essence, faith in goodness empowers us to transcend negativity and see the world through a lens of possibility. It's a choice to cultivate a mindset that looks beyond the immediate, often limited view of life's difficulties and recognizes the potential for transformation in every situation. This faith gives us the courage to persevere, the compassion to uplift others, and the wisdom to find growth in adversity. By grounding ourselves in a belief that good prevails, we not only enrich our lives but contribute to a world that reflects this belief, one where positivity, resilience, and hope shape the fabric of reality. The principle that everything has purpose and meaning can profoundly shift our approach to life, providing comfort, guidance, and resilience in the face of challenges. This idea suggests that all experiences, both joyous and painful, contribute to our growth and understanding, shaping us in ways we may not immediately comprehend. Life is not simply a series of random events, but a journey where every experience, encounter, and setback is a stepping stone toward greater self-awareness, wisdom, and personal evolution. When we view life through this lens, even the most challenging situations begin to reveal value, helping us to see the larger picture and make peace with what unfolds. Seeing everything as purposeful means that we start to approach challenges differently, focusing not only on how they affect us in the moment, but on what they might be teaching us or preparing us for. For example, setbacks in a career may feel devastating at first, but they may serve as a push toward a more fulfilling path, or as an opportunity to learn perseverance and patience. Similarly, heartbreak in relationships, while painful, often teaches us about ourselves, our values, boundaries, and what we truly need in a partner. Over time, these difficult lessons transform us, equipping us with insights and strengths that might have been impossible to gain otherwise. Purposeful experiences also help us connect more deeply with others. When we encounter people who are going through struggles similar to those we have faced, our past experiences allow us to empathize and support them with genuine understanding. Challenges create empathy and resilience, enabling us to extend compassion and wisdom to others on similar paths. This interconnectedness shows that our experiences not only shape us individually, but contribute to a larger collective wisdom that benefits others. By sharing our stories and insights, we help others navigate their own journeys, creating a ripple effect that fosters healing, understanding, and growth within communities. Moreover, the idea that everything has purpose encourages us to adopt a mindset of curiosity and openness. Instead of viewing life's events as fixed or inherently good or bad, we become willing to explore what these experiences might bring. We ask questions like, what can I learn from this? Or how might this serve me? In the long run, this approach fosters a sense of adventure, turning life into a learning experience rather than a series of challenges to overcome. When we see purpose in every experience, we are less likely to resist change or cling to the past, allowing ourselves to evolve with a sense of flow and acceptance. Purpose-driven thinking also relieves us from the fear of failure. When we believe that everything has meaning, we stop defining ourselves by outcomes alone and start valuing the journey itself. This shift allows us to pursue our goals with courage, knowing that even if things don't turn out as expected, there's still valuable insight or growth to gain. This perspective turns perceived failures into valuable experiences, reminding us that setbacks are not the end, but part of the process of becoming. In this way, the idea that everything has purpose and meaning gives us the resilience to persist, the courage to face uncertainty, and the wisdom to find value in every moment. Viewing forgiveness as a form of liberation is a transformative perspective that frees us from the emotional burdens of resentment, anger, and hurt. When we hold on to grievances, we keep ourselves tied to the pain of past events and remain emotionally tethered to those who have wronged us. This attachment to past hurts drains our energy, clouds our perspective, and ultimately prevents us from moving forward. Forgiveness, then, is less about excusing someone's actions and more about reclaiming our own peace of mind. By choosing to forgive, we let go of the weight of unresolved feelings and free ourselves from the hold that painful memories have on us. Forgiveness is an act of self-compassion. When we forgive, we acknowledge that holding on to pain does more harm to us than to the person who hurt us. In this sense, forgiveness is a gift. We give ourselves a chance to release negativity and create space for healing and renewal. The choice to forgive doesn't mean forgetting or invalidating our feelings. Instead, it's about choosing to release the grip of anger and hurt. When we forgive, we're actively deciding that our emotional well-being is more important than remaining attached to the pain someone else may have caused us. This choice to prioritize our mental peace over resentment allows us to regain control of our lives, moving forward with clarity and freedom. Forgiveness also shifts our focus from what happened to what we can learn and how we can grow. When we forgive, we're not erasing the past, but instead choosing to see it as a valuable experience. Every challenging interaction, hurtful word, or betrayal can reveal insights about our values, boundaries, and personal strengths. For example, if someone breaks our trust, forgiveness doesn't mean we allow them back into our lives without discernment. Instead, it gives us the space to understand what we truly want from relationships, what boundaries we need, and how we can protect our peace while maintaining compassion. In this way, forgiveness allows us to transform painful experiences into lessons that shape us in positive ways. This act of letting go also fosters inner peace, which is essential for personal growth. When we hold on to anger or bitterness, we often experience stress, anxiety, or even physical symptoms of discomfort. Forgiveness alleviates this internal tension, allowing us to reconnect with a sense of calm. It's a process of cleansing, where we release the negativity that no longer serves us. With forgiveness, we replace those emotions with empathy, understanding, and acceptance. This inner peace then becomes a foundation upon which we can build healthier relationships, approach life with a clearer mind, and respond to new experiences without the filter of past grievances. Ultimately, forgiveness as liberation allows us to reclaim our personal power. When we forgive, we're no longer defined by the actions of others, but by our response to those actions. We take ownership of our emotional state, choosing to let go of the past and step into a more empowered future. This act of self-liberation is transformative, enabling us to live freely, unburdened by past pain, and open to new possibilities. Love as a foundational force for positive transformation is a powerful concept that goes beyond simple affection or attachment. It's about cultivating an unconditional, expansive energy that influences every aspect of life. This perspective on love sees it not only as an emotion, but as an active choice, a way of seeing and engaging with a world that nurtures growth, healing, and connection. When we approach life with love at the center, we transform ourselves and, by extension, those around us. Love becomes a guiding principle that shapes our thoughts, actions, and relationships, encouraging us to act with compassion, patience, and understanding. In many ways, love is the bridge that connects us to others. When we approach relationships with an open heart, we create an atmosphere of acceptance and trust that allows people to feel valued and understood. This bond creates a sense of safety, encouraging openness and vulnerability, which are essential for authentic connection. Through love, we offer empathy and forgiveness, which fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. Instead of holding grudges or reacting defensively, love encourages us to listen and to seek understanding, creating a harmonious environment that helps resolve conflicts and strengthens bonds. This doesn't mean we overlook hurtful behavior. Instead, we approach these moments with a perspective rooted in understanding and compassion, finding constructive ways to address challenges while preserving respect and kindness. Love also fuels personal growth by encouraging us to look within and confront our own limitations. When we love ourselves deeply, we're more inclined to recognize our potential and pursue paths that fulfill us. Self-love is the foundation for self-acceptance and confidence, allowing us to embrace who we are without judgment. This positive self-regard empowers us to set healthy boundaries, prioritize our well-being, and make choices that align with our values and goals. As we cultivate love for ourselves, we naturally extend it outward, embodying qualities like patience, kindness, and resilience that positively impact those we encounter. This journey of self-love creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to recognize their own worth and fostering a community of mutual respect and support. Beyond individual relationships and self-growth, love as a transformative force reaches into larger communities and society. When we act from a place of love, we're more inclined to engage in service, contribute to the well-being of others, and advocate for justice and equality. Love motivates us to care for the planet, support causes that uplift others, and work toward building a world that values compassion over competition. This mindset encourages us to see ourselves as part of a greater whole, where each action we take impacts the collective well-being. Love becomes the catalyst for positive change, inspiring us to create a more compassionate and inclusive society. Furthermore, love has healing power that helps us move beyond personal pain and trauma. When we embrace love, we create space for forgiveness, acceptance, and renewal. We learn to release past grievances and approach life with a lighter heart. This healing effect is not only beneficial to our mental and emotional health, but also fosters physical well-being. Studies have shown that loving relationships and positive social interactions are linked to lower stress levels, a stronger immune system, and increased longevity. Love, therefore, has a tangible effect on our overall health, reminding us that its power reaches far beyond the emotional realm. Embracing love as a core principle is a transformative choice that shapes every part of our lives. It empowers us to build deeper connections, nurture personal growth, promote societal harmony, and experience healing in profound ways. When we choose love, we choose a path that leads not only to personal fulfillment, but to a world where kindness, compassion, and unity prevail. In conclusion, the profound insights from Neville Goddard's teachings remind us that life is not merely a series of random occurrences, but a tapestry woven from our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions. Embracing the idea that there is no evil enables us to shift our perspectives, allowing us to recognize that every experience serves a purpose and contributes to our growth. By understanding that our minds are powerful creators of reality, we learn to take responsibility for our inner landscape, shaping our lives with intention and positivity. Faith in goodness empowers us to navigate challenges with resilience and hope, while the practice of forgiveness liberates us from the chains of past hurts, allowing us to reclaim our peace and personal power. Ultimately, love serves as the foundational force for transformation, guiding our actions and relationships toward deeper connection and compassion. As we cultivate these principles, we not only enhance our own lives, but also contribute to a world where kindness, understanding, and collective well-being flourish. By embodying these truths, we become active participants in the creation of a more harmonious and uplifting reality for ourselves and others, reminding us that within each of us lies the power to shape our destiny through the choices we make and the love we share. Thank you.